Okay. Today is July 12th, 2023. I'd like to call to the order Brisbane Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. The time is 6:34 p.m. We'd like to start out by doing roll call. Jovi, I'll turn that over to you.
All right, sure thing. So we have here, first order of business, consider any request of a commissioner to attend a meeting remotely under the emergency circumstances of AB 2449.
We have no requests. So Jovi will do roll call of the commissioners that are present.
Okay, starting off with Chairperson Kern.
Present.
Commissioner Comerford.
Present.
Commissioner Davis.
Present.
Commissioner Greenlee.
Present.
Commissioner Ocampo.
Present.
Commissioner Sims.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jovi. Next up is the adoption of the agenda. Do we have any deletions, additions, or changes to the agenda tonight? Okay, then can I have someone make a motion to adopt the agenda?
I motion to adopt the agenda.
I will second it.
Alrighty, we're moving to adopt tonight's agenda. So let's do our roll call. Chairperson Kern.
Aye.
Commissioner Comerford.
Aye.
Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Greenlee.
Aye.
Commissioner Ocampo.
Aye.
Commissioner Sims.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Also in the board package was the meeting minutes of May 10th, 2023, our last meeting. If there are no questions on the minutes, can someone please make a motion to approve them?
Natalie would like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
I can second that.
the motion.
Okay, we're moving to approve the minutes of our previous meeting back on May 10th. Chairperson Kern.
Aye.
Commissioner Comerford.
Aye.
Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Greenlee.
Aye.
Commissioner Ocampo.
Aye.
Commissioner Sims.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any citizen communications this evening?
None tonight.
Thank you. Okay, we don't have any presentations, so moving on to old business. The first item up is the amazing garden tour and the debrief on that event.
Yeah, so we wanted to just congratulate the commission and staff and community members that supported the first garden tour and really championed it forward. It was a very successful event. I've only heard praise and wonderful things from those who participated or those who talked to those who participated. So it sounds like it'll definitely be something that we offer again in the future, but wanted to give the commissioners and staff an opportunity to debrief kind of how the event went, what some of the highlights were, any potential changes for the next time we do the event. So just wanted to open the floor to you this evening.
Thank you. Well, the event was a success. We had 90 participants, and the town was definitely abuzz with people walking about. I don't have a grand total on how much the Lions raised.
1,800.
$1,800 was raised by the event for the scholarship fund, so that's pretty fantastic. I didn't have any negative feedback across the board. Anybody else?
Only positive feedback that I heard. It was a great event. As someone who attended and enjoyed it, I just really appreciate all the care that went into it and the variety of gardens. And I heard overwhelmingly positive feedback. So thank you to all of the commissioners who worked so hard on it. Commissioner Greenlee, Commissioner Kern, like it was awesome. And I think like the only thing I've heard is people want to have them multiple times a year.
I heard that too. Well, as someone who kind of spearheaded this event forward, it was beyond expectations. The staff did just an amazing job coming up with, I heard nothing great comments about the staff, and I think the lead up to it was really good. The Lions Club stepped up and really helped. And of course, Sue Cochran came up with the original idea in a meeting that we had years ago, and she had been thinking about it for a long time. So we just moved it forward and made it happen, which is always the case with the Park and Rec Department, that new events just need to be carried forward. And this was a really good example of how you can do that. Although I must say, it was a lot of work for everybody. I mean, Frank did a lot of work. And
Lisa
staff
did a lot of work.
I did a lot of work. We did a lot of work. So having it multiple times a year, I don't think so. But I think that because it was a success, what we need now more is that the community can maybe see what it can be, and we can build on what we've done before and maybe come up with improvements and possibly different themes for the gardens or different schedules or different, somehow build on what we did, because you can't just do the same gardens over and over again. You've got to have different gardens. But this gives gardeners in Brisbane an opportunity to really work on their gardens and maybe have the goal of being on the garden tour. And so that's kind of what I hope, that it really promotes gardening and promotes the scholarship fund, which the Lions Club has done an amazing job in this town, because they do need the funds being raised since some of their other fundraisers are going away. So that was the point. But anyways, good job, everybody.
And Lisa, I think there are already quite a few people who want to be featured in the garden tour next year. So
That's really
There's
good.
going to be a waiting list. for
Yes,
sure.
exactly.
Is there really?
Yes.
Oh, that's exciting. Because I was like racking my brain, because really, because I'm a gardener and, my ex-husband, John Greenlee, is a professional gardener. We kind of knew these people in town. I've known them for years, and I tapped the people that I knew. But I know there's so many people that I don't know,
Many were inspired.
Many. So that is really great.
So thank you to staff. Thank you, Lisa, for spearheading this and keeping it going forward. I also want to give a call out to Commissioner Sewell, who did a lot of hard work that day in producing an amazing video to
Beautiful film.
document the event. So that was absolutely amazing. So thank you, Tom Sewell. I don't have anything else on the garden tour.
No.
I'm glad you called out Tom, though, because that video was awesome and he was everywhere that day.
He was.
Very professional. I'm amazed.
Yes.
And just for the publics, if they want to see the film, how do they access that?
It's available on the city's YouTube site, and I think maybe on our main webpage as well. But I think it'll serve as a great promotional reel for the next time we do the event.
Yeah, isn't that great? Okay, cool.
Okay, thank you, everybody, for your input on that. The next item on old business is the Offsite Facilities Tour and Debrief. Last month in June, the Parks and Recs Commission piled into the Parks and Commission van, and we took a tour of a few of the facilities in town. So who would like to start the debrief?
I'd like to ask a question. When we were there at Firth Park, has anything been done about that sign, or was that passed on to Public Works or anything? You
Which
know,
sign?
The sign that's in front that was made out of bricks and everything, and it's kind of been damaged.
Oh, that's a big project. Nothing's been done yet to update it, but the Public Art Advisory Committee meets on Monday, and they're going to be talking about revitalizing the existing art in Firth Park. That is on their agenda, and I anticipate that that will be part of the conversation.
Okay, and then the plaque at the tennis court, because I offered to clean it myself.
Oh,
Yeah, nothing further at this time. We have it on the docket if we have like an Eagle Scout or someone who is wanting to do a refurbishing of it, but we haven't, nothing further.
Okay.
Okay, as a recap, we toured the Brisbane pool. We toured the Littman field. That's both soccer and baseball. We took a look at the tennis courts. We did a partial walk through Littman itself, which is in pretty good shape. And then we went from there to Firth Park and took a look at Firth Park. So that was the first time I'd seen Littman. But yeah, that was the extent of our tour.
Well, my impression was that the pool looks really great. We could do some improvements with the outside facilities, maybe making them a little more updated. The fields look pretty bad. That's a long-standing issue with the kids using the field and the school owning the field and our maintenance of it. And Tom Sewell is on top of that, I believe. We have some ideas about that. And Littman was amazing and gave us all kinds of ideas about what possibly that theater space could be. And we are using it now for summer camp, are we not? Yeah, and we're using, and pickleball has been being held there this month, and it's going really well, isn't it? Yeah. So that's exciting to have that. And then, of course, Firth Park, which needs a lot of work. Yeah. And so it was really good to see all that.
I have an idea. I wonder if, because I think we usually don't have a meeting in August or in lieu of a meeting, or maybe in addition to a meeting, we could have a Parks and Rec Commission Day of Service and do the plaque and just do some things that need to be
I like
done.
that.
I like that idea.
I like that.
I would love to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
you want us to put you to work.
Yes.
Look at those people on the screen. All right, Renee. Natalie, there you guys are in.
You're in.
That's great.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
How do we decide on what we do, or how does that?
Maybe we'll start with an email to the commission to determine availability. I know August can be difficult if people are traveling and it's kind of the one summer break that we all get. So I don't know if August is an ideal timeframe, but we could at least designate a few possible dates and get something on the calendar, and from there continue the conversation about kind of scope of work.
Yeah,
Sounds great.
Great.
I like that.
Okay. Last up under old business is National Parks and Recreation Month, which we've got our calendar in the package here today. National Parks and Recreation Month is July every year, and it looks like we've got some very exciting programming and events going on throughout the entire month.
Yeah, so Jovi's got it up on the screen here. We've already kind of kicked it off, but I'm going to let Nicole, because she did a lot of the legwork on this, kind of speak to it.
Yeah, so as we said on the screen, we have our July is Parks and Rec Month calendar with ideas, recommendations for getting outside and socializing, as well as some programs and events that we are offering to the community. So you'll notice we have added on there our tech help with our Youth Advisory Committee, and that is every Wednesday. Our picnic in the park, which is every Thursday, and we have staff that's out under the gazebo with music traffic at the same time as the farmers market, and sharing details about upcoming programs and events, including our concert series. We did offer a Teen Glow event at the pool, although not as successful as the previous year, still something that we enjoy offering to the community and specifically that demographic, and looking forward to continuing to offer similar programs in the future. And then we have a number of different things coming up for the remainder of summer, which we have listed on there. Ms. Lisa Greenlee is going to be doing some chalk on one of those picnic in the park days. So we are excited about that. And then Bark in the Park is one that we offered before, and will be at the end of July, just here at the dog park. Another way to socialize with some of our four-legged friends and their owners. And then you'll see listed the Concerts in the Park series starting up this Friday as well. And we are excited about all that's to come with the concert series this year. I believe we're going to talk a little bit further about the concert series in a little bit, so I won't dive too deep into that. And at the Sunrise Room, as we speak, it wasn't a public event, it was through the senior club, but we have wine and paint night that's being offered to our some of our senior club participants. So there's about, I think, 9 or 10 of them there painting right now.
Right now, we're missing.
Right now as we speak. And then tomorrow, actually, we have another teen event, I believe we've mentioned before, where we are utilizing the Sunrise Room not only for our seniors, but on off times, bringing our teens in. We just got a brand new television that's in there, and remove some of the older furniture, and we have a brand new TV, a Nintendo Switch, and we are looking forward to having the teens back in there again for another night of fun.
Nice.
And I'd also like to just highlight the citywide yard sale, which is coming up on the 22nd to benefit the Friends of the Brisbane Library. And that's always a big fun day.
And the summer habitat restoration is the following day as well.
Ooh.
Okay.
And then the final day of July, we have our s'mores in Community Park, like we offered last year. I believe we passed out baggies of about 100 plus people last year in the community park, and they were able to toast their s'mores, and now we're doing it as kind of a cap to the end of the month. So lots of fun things planned. We hope the community will join us. And even actually on Tuesday, we did a little celebration. The Parks and Rec staff put on for the city staff as a celebration of the work and collaboration that our city staff does to be able to make our programs and events a success. So we had some ice cream under the gazebo on Tuesday.
Congratulations. I particularly was impressed with the temporary tattoos and shoes, which sounds so fun.
Coming up on Monday.
I had a question, and I was just checking my phone to look at the weather. I've heard the heat wave is coming, but it doesn't look like it's necessarily coming here.
It won't.
Okay.
No, it's supposed to be still
Just
pretty
keep saying it.
mild.
I was just checking. I thought,
Yeah.
oh, it's not coming here, because I was going to say we could get the pool ready for crowds. Yeah.
My goodness.
Okay, thanks for that update, Nicole. One more plug for pickleball at Littman, 6 to 8 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays this month.
How has that been has it been well attended?
Yeah,
Is it picking up? It was a little slow to begin with.
Yeah, I think we had like 5 the first time, but I think we're up to about 11 or 12. We've actually had a company in town that reached out and was like, hey, can we have some of our staff come by and play? And so, yeah, yesterday we had kind of a little bit of even a younger crowd that was there, and we've had families that have come. So really a mixed bag of ages that are there, but all promoting movement and learning the sport. And we do provide the equipment, but people are also welcome to bring their own, because, you know, people are particular about their paddles and their
And it's a $5 drop-in fee?
There is a $5 drop-in fee, and we have a QR code that you can just scan. And if you don't have access to your phone, we have other methods of being able to work with you on that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, that takes care of our old business. I don't have any new business. I don't see any new business listed on the agenda, so we'll move past that. Moving on to reports, the chairperson report. I don't have a special report this particular meeting. I think we can move directly into the subcommittees. The first subcommittee is the events subcommittee. We had meetings on May 24th and then again on June 27th. In our last meeting, the events subcommittee did a pretty deep debrief on the garden tour. We spent a big chunk of the meeting talking through what worked, which was everything, and how we might improve it on the go forward and how we might make it bigger and what the frequency should be, and really sort of talked all that through and spent a significant amount of time there. Lisa, any other updates from the events meeting?
We did talk a little bit about the upcoming garden show.
Oh, yes.
Which is happening, I believe, in August, end of August.
The
I saw it on
26th.
the calendar.
Yep. And we're moving that venue to the library space. They have a maker space there that's going to be really beautiful. And I'm looking forward to that event coming up. So.
Okay. Nicole, did I miss anything?
I think we covered most of it for the garden show. Yeah, coming up. And it's going to be one that we're just going to be monitoring how we're tracking attendance of people coming in, just because it will be at the library. But that's something that we're monitoring and we're excited for. And I think we're also looking at the entrance of how people will be coming into the garden show as well.
Very good. Okay, if there's nothing else for events, we'll move on to the Derby Day in the Park subcommittee meeting.
Yeah, I'd like Renee to talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can go ahead and report on that. And actually, I'll just up front thank Nicole for her notes, because for Nicole's notes, I'd be fumbling. So we held our subcommittee meeting to start thinking about Derby Day and the Day in the Park, which are on the same day. Our meeting was on the 6th of June. Day in the Park is scheduled for the 7th of October of this year. So first, just about the Derby workshops. We talked a little bit about practice runs, and I think in the past we've had Derby workshops that were run by Dan Sarantino. I might not be saying his name perfectly right, but Dan has passed, and so we're looking for somebody who will take over that function, because I think it was just a great way for kids to learn from somebody, the master of building Derby cars, but I think also just preparing for a day, kind of the whole discipline of getting ready for something was actually something I think that people really enjoyed. And so right now the work dates are set for Sundays in September, probably 3 of them. And then the practice run for the Derby's cars will be on Sunday, October 1st. So hopefully we'll be able to find somebody who can step in and not replace Dan, but help
Build on his work.
Yeah, help the kids out. We also talked about having an award that day. And one thing we think we'll do is have some sort of a memorial trophy for Dan. I think the Dan Can Do's trophy was something one person suggested. That was his, he had kind of had a side gig that was called Dan Can Do. And then the last thing we talked about on Derby Days was also sponsoring a big wheel in the park. We've talked about that in years past. I think that this year people really would like to see that happen. I think that the big challenge is just making sure that we can do that safely. So the course would just be a straight downhill. I think that the road is called San Francisco, the hill that's, kind of out on the east side of town. And so there's just no real way to make it be zigzaggy so people can slow down. So I think there's just a little bit of worry that people will get started and never stop. And so I think people are just trying to think about how to test run that. And then the day in the park, there was quite a few items talked about. I won't go through all the details, but I just will do some high level touch on a few high level things. So we talked a bit about vendors. I think the new thing people are interested in is face paint and temporary tattoos is one thing I wanted to capture. I think we talked a little bit about food and food trucks. People were kind of looking for maybe an ice cream option. Beer garden last year that we had, I think it was well received. We'd like to repeat that, but maybe include some access to shade. So we thought about maybe, was there some option for a tent? And I think people are looking into that. Some activities that we thought about, a pie eating contest and maybe even a pie baking contest. I thought that sounded like a lot of fun. The carnival games, I think that the main thing there was last year, the game that was the biggest hit seemed to be the test your strength game. So I think they're going to repeat that particular game. Maybe looking at a few more adjustments of some of the other games that were offered. But they did, I think the jump houses, there was only one last year. I think there was a recommendation to maybe bring in two, one for older aged kids and one for younger aged kids. So like 7 to 10 for one, ages 7 to 10 for one, and a smaller one for ages 3 through 6. The comments that I heard or that I wanted to highlight on the music was last year we did not have a band and instead had a playlist. I think we're going to repeat that. That seemed to work well, and so I think we'll continue with that. And then kind of the last little bit was, I think the big feature we had last year was mini golf for the teens. And so there was a little bit of thought to maybe give a teen zone, set up a teen zone and include in that teen zone the mini golf as the option. That seemed to go over well. But they also had some other thoughts on ways that we can kind of pull in more teens to this day, because it's at that, I think that particular day is maybe not exactly what teens are looking for on how to spend their weekend day, but it'd be great to be able to involve them in something like this that's such a big community event. So I think those are the key takeaways. I think certainly brainstorming for additional ideas, and so if you have ideas, I think the subcommittee would love to hear them. We have a few suggestions, but always open for more. That's it. Lisa, anything else that you can think of?
No, but I'm really excited about the pie baking contest. I think there are a lot of great bakers, but we don't really quite know how. We need to hone the idea down a little bit and figure out if it's going, what you do with the pies. I mean, after the pies have been tasted and judged and we'll have prizes for the best pie. Maybe we auction the pies off, or maybe we just give everybody pie and it's free pie day. I don't know. We haven't.
I was going to say you could auction them off, which would be fun.
Yeah.
I am just volunteering to be a judge for that one.
Because I look at our Facebook page and people are baking and making these fabulous things all the time, and I'm like, I want to highlight some of our culinary talents in town, so that would be fun.
Okay, thank you for the update on Day in the Park. Moving on to the next subcommittee, the Public Art Advisory Subcommittee had a meeting on June 26th.
Yes, and unfortunately, I didn't bring a lot of notes.
Do you want to take a stab at it and I'll supplement if needed?
That would be wonderful.
Okay.
I'll take a stab of what came to mind. I remember we did talk a lot about the process of looking for, is it called an art advisor or a?
We published the RFP for the Public Art Master Plan.
Yes, that's it. And so that has been published and we looked at the progress on that and that was great. We are trying to understand that process of hiring somebody to help us through the process of selecting public art. And so that was good.
Yeah, the deadline for proposals is this Friday. And then the subcommittee or the committee will review those proposals presumably at the September meeting, and then determine either a short list of prospective consultants or whether they want to conduct interviews with a handful and then
ultimately select someone to move forward with a recommendation to City Council.
And so that was a big part of the meeting. We also talked about some future projects that we're interested in pursuing. I remember one of them was doing something with Firth Park and at Firth Park, fixing up the existing sculptures that are there, and also possibly doing something with the sign, the damaged sign, maybe doing something more artistic and making it a real landmark for the town. Something that people could really come to town for. But we also discussed, didn't we not discuss the fire hydrants?
Yes.
Yes, we did. We talked about the fire hydrants and their relocation. Well, one idea that we had that I thought was really good, and correct me, was not putting them all in one place, but putting them in several different places as destinations, because people really liked kind of sitting around them and knowing the history of them. And I think that if they're in different destinations, they could highlight what they are and just make this town a little more interesting in a little different areas. So we discussed about, we need to look at them all, then group them together and then figure out where they're going. And, but not just having them all siloed in one place, Also at First Park, I think we talked about, well, I'm not going to say, I was going to say some kind of artistic fence so that little children are not toddling out into the big busy street, which was always a little scary when you're there. It's just no barrier between that really busy street and that beautiful lawn area, which I think kids and people could be enjoying more. Anyways, and that might possibly give an opportunity for an art project. And other ideas, we've always had this idea of possibly doing benches around town, commissioning some artists to do different benches, because everybody needs a bench. And we could make those really interesting. Is there anything I'm forgetting? No, that's pretty much it?
You did great.
Oh, thanks. Okay.
Okay, thank you for that update. Next on the subcommittee agenda is setting subcommittee meetings.
So the next Public Art Advisory Committee meeting is already set for this coming Monday.
Okay.
Have you scheduled any follow-up events or day in the park or not yet?
We don't have one for the events. We had talked about doing an additional one, and we can chat further about that from there. The day in the park in Derby, off the top of my head. Renee, did we have one scheduled? Okay,
No,
yeah,
we don't.
we should probably look at having another one here in the near future, since that's coming up quickly.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so are we going to set them tonight, or are we going
We can try to.
to, okay.
I think the most time-sensitive ones would be event subcommittee if you need to reconvene for the garden show.
We had said
No?
no. Yeah.
Okay. And then just day in the park and Derby. I think the rest of them could probably wait until we meet again as a full commission to schedule, unless you feel differently.
I do not feel differently.
Okay.
Brisbane Derby and Day in the Park is Comerford, Greenlee, and Ocampo.
At my calendar.
What is the day
Possibly-
for Day in the Park? Remind me.
Day in the park is the first weekend of October. So I would say if we could look at something possibly in early August.
Okay. What days are best for staff?
It's summer, so we can make it,
Okay.
figure it out.
But August is generally a light staff day, like a lot of people are on vacations. Is that true? Yeah.
It depends.
Yeah.
Depends.
But
Okay.
yeah,
We could just, I mean, if there's a date that first week or two of August, let me know and we can
Yeah, I'm
adjust from there.
completely open. What about you guys?
I'm open as well. Anything, I think we usually have these meetings after 3:30, so.
Okay.
available That whole,
Yeah, I mean, do you want to look at, what about August 7th?
7th is good for me.
Monday.
That's a Monday.
Monday.
I think just Jeff
Same
is
as-
off today, but
That's okay.
yeah,
Does
that
Okay,
works.
Okay.
so I'm hearing August 7th for the next Day in the Park meeting.
Okay.
And what time do we want to do that?
What's good for you, Renee, in that you're the one who's working?
Yeah.
What's
So I
your
I usually
schedule?
can work from home on Mondays. That's one of the reasons why I suggested a Monday.
Oh, good.
And so if we did 4:30, then I guess how late does staff stay? If we did 4, would that make it so that people weren't staying late?
I think 4 or 4:30 is fine. Does that work
4:30
for you, Natalie?
Best for you?
Yes.
4:30? Okay.
That works.
Okay, 4:30.
Thank you very much.
And I did want to just add, since we circled back to the Day in the Park in Derby, that final Thursday this month of July for the picnic in the park where we have staff in the gazebo, it is listed as a Derby Day informational opportunity. So if anyone has questions about what it's like to be a part of the Derby, what it takes to be a part of it, you can go and speak with Ricardo. Will be there to answer any and all questions and actually have a example of what a Derby car looks like.
Derby car kickoff. I like it.
Yeah. That's great. Thanks. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Any other subcommittee meetings need to be set? Festival of Lights? No? Okay. I don't think we need an events committee just yet. Lisa, no? Okay. Great. Okay.
I think for the next event that's coming up, the garden show, we would do that through email and just communications. Yeah. Okay.
Perfect. Okay, moving on, reports. Do any of the commissioners have reports tonight?
No.
Nope.
Okay, moving on to staff reports.
We just have a few quick updates. So you already gave a plug for pickleball. Thank you so much. This week is Shark Week at the pool, so they'll have some fun activities during Rec Swim taking place, specifically this weekend. We have our teen nights at the Sunrise Room on the 27th of this month, and August 3rd, I think, is the last one. And then upcoming senior trips on July 20th and August 4th.
July 20th, we're going to the Academy of Science, which that one is already full. Our van is full. And then on the 4th, actually a little bit longer of a trek to the Sonoma County Fair. So I think as of now, we only have about 3 that are signed up for that. But
When is
that's
that?
coming up the 4th.
The
August
4th of August. Wow, that
Mhm.
sounds like a great trip.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about age-friendly cities?
Yeah, and then I will dive into a little overview of the Age Friendly City Initiative update. So I'm going to start at the end and say we were recently certified as an age-friendly city, which is very exciting. And for those of you that don't know, the AARP network is an affiliate of the World Health Organization Global Network of Age-Friendly Cities. And so that's kind of who we've been working with and for. And so we started this process in February, and about 3 months of focus groups, 6 total, with older adults 55 and up, with priority needs, ethnic groups of older adults, underserved residents. And that was working alongside CAFE, which is Ann O'Brien is a representative of that. She was really taking the charge, leading those focus groups, but we also have a task force in town, and I'm on that task force, as well as Council Member Cunningham and a number of other folks. I believe there's 12 of us on that specific task force. And within those focus groups, we were trying to identify what we have already offered to seniors in the community, as well as what we are working towards. And so just kind of not limited to, but what we have offered, our trails, our parks, we have really amazing communication. Our activity guide, our blast, our star, our luminary, Brisbane Helping Hands, volunteer helping hands, is one that we are always trying to continue to advocate for. If people are not familiar with, we do have information on our website about all the amazing work that Brisbane Helping Hands does. We actually just adopted the 2023-2030 to 2031 housing element. And then we have a number of programs and events specifically for our seniors in the community. So those are some of the things, again, not limited to, that we have offered to our seniors. And then from these focus groups that we offered, we were looking at how we can progress and move forward from here. So some of the items that came from that is looking into researching and developing a database for communication for our seniors. There's always, even though we do have really great communication, there's always ways we can continue to improve the communication. Indicating areas for a possible placement of benches or improving benches in town and an inventory of that, as well as crossing marks and places that might be deemed unsafe for people to get around town. Intergenerational programming were some of the kind of main focused areas that we were discussing, a part of those focus groups. So now just from here, we're excited that CAFE selected City of Brisbane as one of 3 cities to submit a grant for, to be able to continue to help with this process. So this focus group, we were again very appreciative to have all of Anne's hard work in leading that. And so moving forward, there's some additional pieces that are going to be occurring, including making kind of a further action plan of how to tackle some of these things. And so the grant that was awarded to CAFE will now allow them to continue to work with us on this process, which is really, really great because there's some more steps to come from here. So there were the two other cities were already a little bit further on. And so we will be continuing to work on that specific step early 2024. But there is some things that can occur in the interim. So we are actually continuing to meet as a task force. We're meeting tomorrow just to continue to look at some of these things that we can work on now. There's no need to stop and wait till 2024. There's lots of things that we can continue to do from the information that we received. And then there's also an age-friendly survey that AARP puts together that we will be working with them on to put out to the community to continue to identify more information to then help us build our action plan. So lots of great things that have come from this process. I'm excited to be a part of it. And I think it's always great to have the structure of how we can move forward from here, especially since I believe it's 21% of our residents are age 60 and over. So it's something that we should always have at the forefront of our minds. So, any questions?
I have a quick question. As a park and rec department, how are we focusing on, park and rec things, movement activities, health classes, whatever they are that can serve our seniors? I'm one of them. I just wondered if how the park and rec department focuses on that, and not because I think sometimes our park and rec we get very, siloed into children and there's a lot of needs in this town, and I think the seniors are not always put on the front burner, and I'm just wondering how as a park and rec department we can focus on that, which this is a great way to do it, I think. Anyways.
Yeah, I think a lot of it kind of comes from input from participants and seniors in our community. Since Nicole has been here, we've started the walking group on San Bruno Mountain for seniors. We continue to have the Agile Aging class at the Sunrise Room. We're working on continued intergenerational program with seniors and youth. So we are doing quite a bit of new stuff, but we're certainly open to hearing from the community if there's a need or a want that we're not currently filling, and that is part of this process. You as commissioners do have a senior subcommittee. So if you want to convene and strategize around additional supplemental programming for seniors, you're certainly more than welcome to do that with staff and continue that collaboration to make sure that we're meeting the needs of that demographic.
Great. I'm going to put a little plug in for pickleball because I think pickleball is a great,
Pickleball
Activity.
too. That's partly why we're having it, is that it's open to all ages.
all
So
ages, yeah.
Congratulations, Nicole. So I love hearing this. I am on the senior committee too, so it sounds like maybe there's some work to be done there and we should schedule a meeting. Did I hear correctly or understand correctly that there's more grant money that could be available?
So it's specifically for this work with Cafe. So it's not specific. It's not for City of Brisbane. It's for Cafe, and they are allocating it for Brisbane's work in this project, but not project specific.
Got it. And then the second question I had is, what are the other two cities that received the designation?
I mean, there's a number of cities who have received the designation. The ones that they are working with now, don't quote me, I think Pacifica.
So I think there's about 9 cities in San Mateo County that have already received the age-friendly designation.
Yeah.
I think the 2 cities that Cafe is working with, in addition to us, are San Bruno and Hillsborough, maybe. So, yeah, but they're within San Mateo County.
Thank you. Definitely something for us to promote on our website and various places.
Agreed.
Any other
Congratulations, great update.
Any other questions on that before I move on to a couple other quick updates?
Oh, you've got more, sorry. didn't mean to cut you
I'll be
off.
quick.
No worries, no worries.
Just want to put in a plug for Volunteer of the Year nominations. We're still collecting those through about mid-August. And then we will convene the selection committee, which consists of the City Council Parks and Recreation liaisons and the chair and vice chair from our commission. So they will select a Volunteer of the Year and a Youth Volunteer of the Year to be awarded and recognized at this year's Day in the Park. So if anybody has nominations, please send them my way. Also, just a quick update that on June 30th, the City Council adopted the annual budget and master fee schedule and elected to implement all of the fees that were proposed by the Parks and Recreation Commission. So thank you for all your hard work on that. I think that they are appreciative of the legwork that was done ahead of time to really understand the numbers and where our thresholds exist in terms of how much we should be charging comparatively to our neighboring agencies. So thank you for taking the time and being diligent through that process. It will make an impact on our reliance on the general fund in this next fiscal year. So some good work was really done there, and I appreciate the council's support of those recommendations that came from the commission. So I wanted to be sure that you were aware of that update. And then just quickly, upcoming events. We have our first summer concert in the park this Friday. It's also my daughter's birthday, but we'll be out there enjoying. And I was speaking with Trudy before the meeting started about how excited we are, given the collaboration with Julie's Deli to provide food and pre-orders for food. So hopefully people will really take advantage of that opportunity and support a local business and then come down to the park. So everybody, please plan to come out on Friday night. What? Go ahead.
A little bit more to that. We do have a few other new exciting additions. We were approached by Hensley in town, and they recommended if they could put together we're calling it a cabana for the Concerts in the Park Series 1 that can have about 15 people. And so we have it where people can reserve or put in a request to reserve the cabana area. Each concert, it will change a bit, given that we have our 2 on Fridays and it's actually only 1 that's going to have the cabana available for rent. And then the 2 Sundays, that's a little bit different of an atmosphere. But for $200, which will go back towards the Concerts in the Park monies, you can reserve for up to 15 people to be able to be in this little cabana. So we also, like we said, we have Julie's. The first concert, we're going to have Snapbot, a little photo element that's going to be there. I believe the library is looking to be out and soliciting their programs and events. I'm trying to think, what was my one other thing that we have? We got a number of different things out there. And then Pride and Joy is the band that's going to be out there, and we're really excited to have them. So we hope the community will join us. It should be a lovely evening.
Yeah. Did you want to say something?
I have some questions. How
Yes.
much is it going to cost for these cabanas?
Hensley is donating all of the furniture.
Donating?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no liability for us if the wind comes up or something?
No, they're a professional crew that sets up equipment
Okay.
and furniture for events all over the place, so.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where is the cabana going to be? This sounds very cool.
Close to where the picnic area is, so in
Good.
front of that, and then you'll have a straight line vision to the concert itself. While if you have kids that you're watching in the playground, you still have sight over there, but not really an obstruction to the crowd, so not like in the center or anything like that. And we will also have our park and rec booth that's out there that will be promoting programs and events to you. Some of our lovely summer camp staff will be out there as well.
Great, thank you.
All right, and then citywide yard sale on July 22nd, Habitat Restoration Day, July 23rd. We now have tickets available for sale for our Brisbane community night at the Giants. That is, the date for that is August 11th. Tickets are available for sale now, so if you're interested, please come to visit Jovi in the office to purchase your tickets. It's a really fun night with neighbors. And the garden show on August 26th. And that's it.
Very good. Thanks for the update. Moving on to commission matters. Do we have any written communications tonight?
We do not.
Okay, thank you. Last but not least is adjournment. Can I have someone make a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn tonight's meeting.
I can second that.
You don't have to motion to adjourn. But if you feel so inclined.
Get the gavel.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's all
going to use
about
the
the
gavel.
gavel.
This meeting is adjourned at 7:24 PM.
And I'll also mention that I think the
Oh,
commission
yes.
is going to take the regularly scheduled August meeting off to align with the city council summer recess. So the next meeting will be September 13th.
September 13th will be the next meeting. Yes, correct. Thank you for reminding me of that, Noreen. Okay, we're now adjourning at 7:25. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Yeah, the gavel kind of like the end. No.
I don't know about the gavel.